Chapter 31. The Adventures of the Rookie Son-in-Law, 1985. Much of life flows in gentle rhythms, a steady, unyielding cycle of responsibilities, tasks, and minor victories that barely touch the edges of our memory. We strive, exert ourselves, and achieve, yet much of it fades into the mundane, carried away by time. However, every life contains pivotal moments, rare, radiant, instances that cut through the haze like lightning in a dark sky, etching themselves into our very being. For me, that moment came like an uninvited dream, like a fairy tale ambushing an unsuspecting traveler. I had been a wandering dwarf in the forest, lost in life's routine, shuffling through the underbrush of responsibility, until I stumbled upon Snow White herself, Keeling. With her shy, radiant eyes, boundless enthusiasm, and that sweet, playful smile that seemed to embody spring, she was more than just a person I encountered. She felt like a revelation. In an instant, I wasn't just getting by anymore. I was enveloped in a story more beautiful than anything I had ever envisioned. I wanted to meet her parents without delay the very next day. I longed to tell them and everyone else that I adored their daughter. Even though I hadn't yet expressed it to her, even though she was completely unaware that I had already called home to scream the bewildering news with my siblings, "I've found your sister-in-law!" Now came the ultimate test. The first visit to the parents. Everyone knew the unspoken rules. A hopeful groom without proper offerings was like a soldier marching into battle unarmed. You needed the full arsenal, the machine gun, bullets, and grenades, Jinhua ham, premium cigarettes, and aged Mao Tai, the standard engagement gifts during our time in Shanghai. I could already hear the ghosts whispering, "No gifts? Don't even bother showing up." And here I was, heart full of noble, pure love staring down the barrel of material expectations. I asked Keeling, when would be the best time for this humble future son-in-law to visit? She shrugged, utterly unmoved.
Whenever. It doesn't matter.
What should I bring? This time she didn't even look up.
Don't bring anything. Just bring yourself.
Bring nothing? Surely that was a trap. My mind slipped into mock Ningbo mode. Oh, come on, it can't be that easy. And yet, part of me believed her. That ease, simplicity, that stripped-down sincerity, wasn't it exactly who she was? A week after our walk in People's Park, I arranged to visit her home. This wasn't just a visit. This was the beginning of a family, a possible future, a quiet promise. When I told her, she lit up, eyes wide with delight, voice tinged with wonder.
Really? You're not just saying that?
I blinked. Why would I just say that? She hesitated, then murmured,
He never wanted to come. Even after 2 years, he still kept me hidden. But you're coming already?
And then her expression transformed. She was practically bouncing.
Then come early, come early!
That afternoon, as I walked toward her neighborhood, her voice kept echoing in my head.
Then come early, come early!
But just as the sun tilted into the golden hour, I was struck by a terrible realization. I had no gift. No wine, no ham, no cigarettes, not even symbolic of anything. I forgot. How had I allowed this to happen? Me, a product of Shanghai's political etiquette, raised on rules and rituals. I had believed her when she said, "Just bring yourself." And now, I was about to walk into her family's home completely empty-handed as a son-in-law-to-be. Thankfully, the fruit shop appeared just ahead, like a roadside miracle. No time to think. I grabbed the safest, most uncontroversial offering known to man, a bunch of bananas. No symbolism, no extravagance, no packaging, just bananas. Not Jinhua ham, not Mao Tai liquor, just potassium and panic, but it was something. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. Keeling's home was in Sky Mountain New Village, a textbook communist workers' housing complex in Shanghai's Western District. The kind of neighborhood built with bricks and ideology, where every building echoed the boring slogans of post-revolution urban planning. 4-story apartment buildings were lined up, with each level accommodating 4 families. The residents had communal access to all facilities: the kitchen, bathroom, and the cramped shower room at the hall's end. Laundry lines tangled between trees while neighbors gathered to play chess beneath them. Little green spaces served as venues for gossip, sunbathing, and minor disputes. This was more than just a housing complex. It represented a small republic. Her family resided on the ground floor in a simple 2-room suite. Similar to many working-class homes in Shanghai, every space served multiple purposes. The bedroom also functioned as the dining room, while the living room acted as storage. The furniture was basic, functional, and somewhat worn. There was no unnecessary decoration, only warmth, utility, and the quiet dignity of enduring life. As I walked in with bananas, I handed them to Qiuling. She smiled widely.
Didn't I tell you not to buy anything?
With a teasing grin, she added,
You really are obedient. I said don't bring anything, so you brought bananas?
I chuckled nervously, surprised by her sharp wit. Before I could reply, a blur raced across the room. A small shadow jumped off a chair, bounced on the couch, hit the floor, and leaped up for another go. My heart raced. Was this a member of the welcoming committee? It turned out that it was Qiuling's little brother, only 7 or 8 years old, 18 years younger than her. He had an energetic acrobat with a sly look. As soon as he spotted me, he sprang onto his sister, swinging from her arms like a vine and using her as a jungle gym. I watched in amazement. Could her slender frame withstand such a fierce onslaught? Evidently, it could. While talking to me, she skillfully defended against his frantic blows and moved effortlessly around the room, completing tasks without any sign of effort. Need any help? I asked.
Just sit there. Have some candy. Have some fruit.
I can cook, you know. Do you want help with dinner?
No thanks.
She replied, barely glancing my way.
My parents will handle dinner when they get home.
Hold on. So we were expected to wait for her parents to finish work until 6 o'clock to begin cooking? Is this really how I was welcomed as a son-in-law? Patience, I reminded myself. Just smile. This was not Ningbo. Suddenly, Qiuling dashed outside on an urgent errand. Her younger brother followed closely behind but paused to give me one last threatening look, as if to communicate, "See, this is your fault." I started feeling I was in hostile territory. Qiuling was running an underground resistance operation, and our relationship revolved around covert glances and stolen smiles. Meanwhile, her little brother played the role of both surveillance and morality enforcer, his keen eyes detecting every subtle expression. Were we dating? Was this a family or a psychological training camp? At long last, her mother arrived home. Qiuling announced to her plainly,
Little Yang is here.
Her mother gave me a polite nod, cordial but cautious. Then she turned sharply to her daughter.
Did you wash the vegetables? Did you soak the black mushroom? Are the clothes dry? Did you pick up Uncle Chen's things?
Qiuling replied with distracted hums and vague, absent-minded nods. Something had clearly gone undone. Her mother's eyes narrowed. Then came the storm.
What is wrong with you? You're so careless these days. Every task I gave you, you've done half-heartedly. Just wait till your father gets home.
Her voice rose like a kettle left too long on the stove, and yet I could tell this was the restrained version. She was holding back because of me. Had I not been sitting there, Qiuling might have been obliterated. Still, I tensed in my seat. Qiuling was in trouble, and yet she smiled, smirked even. As she set the table, she moved with the exaggerated slowness of a rebellious teenager pretending to be helpful. She looked over at me, eyes twinkling, mouthing,
Scared yet?
Then she muttered under her breath,
Didn't I already do all that? None of it even matters.
And just when I thought the chaos had peaked, her father came home. He didn't greet anyone, didn't notice the guest. From the doorway he roared,
"Old woman, is dinner ready yet?"
His wife started to explain. Something she said, who knows what, ignited the fuse.
"What the hell have you two done all day? Lazy old woman, every day nothing's right."
His fury rolled through the room like a thunderclap. It wasn't anger, it was Judgment Day. And for once, Kuling and her mother stood on the same side of the trench. He was a one-man firing squad. Neither of them could deflect the barrage. Finally, his eyes flicked toward me. A glance, no name, no words, just a flicker of acknowledgement. Because he didn't know who I was. And thank God for that. I had been spared. Kuling, for her part, remained the picture of serenity. She picked up a cloth and wiped the cabinets, moved slowly, almost theatrically, like a ghost haunting her own home. Was this her survival method? Invisibility? Her mother tried to push back, reasoning and pleading. Useless. He was a typhoon. And I, still sitting on that tiny stool with my bananas, was the wide-eyed foreigner who'd just stepped into the heart of a domestic monsoon. This wasn't the dining room that welcomed me. This was a war zone, and I had just been drafted. Just as the tempest of his fury reached its peak, Kuling's father turned his head, and there, in the eye of the storm, was his youngest son. Oblivious to the chaos, the little boy sat cross-legged in the corner, humming quietly, lining up his toy figurines in a battle formation only he understood. In that instant, the rage vanished. It evaporated like morning mist retreating from sunlight. His face, moments ago a battlefield of clenched teeth and furrowed brows, bloomed into a wide grin. His voice softened into something playful, melodic.
"My son, my precious son, my little rascal, my little monkey."
He strode over, lifted the boy into his arms, and began smothering him with kisses. Laughter, real, unrestrained, joyous, filled the house, dissolving all trace of the shouting that had just shaken the walls. For a fleeting moment, the tyrant was gone. Only a father remained, lost in the soft gravity of paternal love. Then just as quickly the spell broke. He set the child down and turned only to see Kuling still wiping down the cabinet, lost in her own rhythm. His smile vanished. A shadow crossed his face, and the storm returned.
"Why are you still standing there like an idiot? Haven't I told you to get the vegetables ready? I'm about to cook."
Before she could respond, he waved her off.
"Forget it. Don't bother. Your mother can do it instead."
And with that, he stomped into the kitchen. The storm passed, skies cleared, and I remained frozen. The fantasy I had carried into this visit, the romantic vision of announcing my love, impressing her parents, maybe even daring to speak of our future lay in ruins. The princess I adored was a Cinderella, not in name, dress, or glass slippers, but in silence, shadows, and unspoken scars. I had entered this home with dreams of offering my heart, but I had not come prepared for the weight she carried. Not with words, not even with bananas. Our love would not be a carefree cloud drifting across blue skies. It would be a bamboo shoot pushing upward from dark soil, through hardened earth, straining toward the sun. Dinner, somehow, was lavish, flavors layered with precision, dishes arranged with care. The table offered abundance. Her father turned out, if nothing else, to be a spectacular cook, and yet I could hardly taste it. After all I had witnessed, I wanted to finish quietly, politely, and disappear. So I sat stiff and silent. The rookie son-in-law who had planned to dazzle now reduced to a silent eater, terrified that even a compliment might trigger another eruption. After dinner I bid farewell. Q-Ling walked me to the bus stop. At last, finally, we were alone again. No shouting, no sharp glances, no little detective hiding behind a chair. Just her in the cool evening air, and I breathing once more. I gazed at her, yearning to express something meaningful and heartfelt. I longed to convey my sorrow for the pain she had endured on my behalf and my feeling of being unworthy of her love. Yet she, always perceptive, smiled at me.
My father's always like that. He just needs to yell at someone.
She said it casually, lightly, as if she were the one comforting me. Under the darkening sky, we walked. She smiled radiantly and laughed freely. She chatted about dinner, the neighbors, everything and nothing, as if tonight had been perfect, as if that dinner had been the most delicious meal we'd shared, as if this right now was the most beautiful moment of her life. I looked at her, this girl raised in fire and thunder still carried spring in her smile, and I found myself asking, how is this steel forged? How does someone grow up amid storms and still shine with the warmth of dawn? And then I felt it, the urge to cry and the urge to laugh, both at once, a tidal pull in my chest. What was this feeling? I looked at her again and I knew this love wasn't new. It was a reunion of two souls, a rediscovery of lost beauty, a long-awaited homecoming, as if I had been searching for her every lifetime. And at last, she was walking beside me.